Can Lorenzo please adopt me? Sure, leave your name and number. I'm Lorenzo, and I'm a level 2 chef. Just to give it some pizzazz, some little I like to add bittersweet chocolate.
Hi, I'm Penny. I'm a professional chef at the Institute of Culinary Education. You probably know me as a level 3 chef.
Every time I have a pina colada, it makes me feel like I'm on vacation.
I'm David, and I'm the editor of Epicurious.
Okay. What? Jeez. Oh, God. Jeez.
And I'm Mr. Pink Shirt Guy.
This is my other little special trick and treat. I like to put the chocolate chips right into the middle of the brownie. Maybe 2 handfuls. Maybe a little bit more.
And I'm Rose. I'm the food scientist.
And here are all of the answers.
To all of your questions
About brownies.
Shake it out. I gotta get started here.
And here we go.
There's a lot of questions on this wheel.
Let's do this. Here we go, guys.
Oh, this is kind of a hard one. Is a brownie a type of cake?
Or a type of cookie.
I think it's in its own class, really.
Kind of think it's in the middle. I think it's a bar, and I think it's more of a cookie.
This is verging on a philosophical question here.
A brownie is like a bar, isn't it?
If you had to choose, I would choose cookies, like a bar cookie.
So in a cookie recipe, there's usually no liquid, right? So there's butter, there's flour, there's eggs, there's salt, but there's no milk or water in it. In a cake, there's milk and water. In a brownie, there's no milk or water. So it's more in line with a cookie, but it's gonna have a much higher percentage of fat and probably a higher percentage of sugar as well. And so those are gonna make it lean more towards the cookie side, but much more gooey.
No, it's actually not a philosophical question. It's not a cookie at all. A cookie is like an individual little thing that's baked, and it tends to be, a lot drier than a fudgy cookie.
Not a cake.
It's definitely not cake, unless you're doing it wrong.
I mean, I would say that a brownie is a unique thing.
I think a brownie is its own genre.
It's more cookie camp than it is cake camp. Final answer.
Brownie is its own category all the way.
Let's just say it's, to me, cookie. To me, cookie. My opinion,
What is better to use?
cocoa powder or melted chocolate?
This is a very tough question. I can't give you an answer to this. I don't think that one is better than the other. Except that I do think one is better than the other. I think cocoa powder is a little bit better than melted chocolate.
It depends on what kind of brownie you want to end up with.
I'm usually using cocoa powder. I find that it's just, it's a better flavor than just straight up melted chocolate. That's me with my high fancy falutin taste buds.
Cocoa powder gives you a super, super rich, dark, chocolatey brownie.
If you want a fudgy, rich brownie, you're going to want to use a melted chocolate for sure.
That's gonna be kind of a gooier brownie, kind of a moist brownie, kind of a cakier brownie would be if you just use cocoa powder. But if you add a liquid chocolate to it, ooh, it's gonna be nice and gooey. And that's the way I like my brownies.
You're probably more likely to have cocoa powder in the pantry than, a nice bar of chocolate. Because if you're like me, you already ate the chocolate a long time ago. And that means you can make brownies at any time.
Okay, next. Here we go. How do we make a fudgy brownie versus a cakey brownie?
Fudgy versus cakey. This is the big debate.
You just don't make a cakey brownie. A cakey brownie is a chocolate cake. A fudgy brownie is a brownie.
I'm not into the cake. If I was gonna eat a cake, I'd make a cake.
If you want it to be fudgy, I would add a little bit more moisture.
You're going to use melted chocolate, not cocoa powder. You're going to use melted butter or oil that's already liquid, and you're not going to overmix that product.
If you must make a cakey brownie, you put leavener in it.
So a cakey brownie is going to have more flour in it, and it's also going to have a little bit of baking powder.
You're probably going to add some sort of a liquid in addition to the eggs, something like maybe a little bit of milk or cream.
I like actually a balance between the two, but slightly more balanced towards the fudgy, because I really want that thick chocolate flavor coming through, and most of the time to me, cakey is too dry. But I like a little structure to it. I don't want, fudge. Fudge is just a funny word, isn't it? I just like saying fudge.
Which kind of nut goes best with brownies?
This is easy. It's walnuts. That's it.
I'm a pecan fan. I like pecans in my brownies.
I think almonds a good starting point. That's what I used in the 4 levels brownie recipe. I like a lot of almonds.
I think walnuts would be the easiest to crunch down on and make it palatable and just easy.
This is a good question. This is a divisive question. First of all, this question assumes that nuts go in brownies at all, that they belong in brownies at all. And I will tell you, I'll be very honest with you, it took me a long time to even get to the place where I thought a nut should go into a brownie at all.
I think like nuts and chocolate go pretty darn well together, so I think you'd be okay experimenting with different kinds of nuts. I mean, walnut's pretty good.
Pecans are also delicious, but they're a little crunchier than walnut.
No, not a pecan, no. That's gross to me. I don't know why, but that's kind of, I'm reacting against that. Like the thought of a pecan in a brownie is making me angry. I don't like that.
We go down. Yeah. Walnuts.
Okay, this one. How do I prepare the special ingredient?
Wink, wink. For special brownies, wink, wink.
I can't imagine what you're asking me there.
Am I supposed to know the answer to this question? Am I not supposed to know the answer to this question?
I'm like, what are you talking about? Wink, wink.
I love that you winked 4 times in this question. That is so good. The special ingredient, winky, winky, for the special brownies. I think we get it.
Why would you think I know how to make those special brownies?
I know I look like someone who would know the answer to this question, but I don't. I mean, I kind of do.
Ask Rose for sure.
I'll stick to champagne.
So coconut oil would be your key ingredient, but not the secret ingredient.
You want to make a can of butter. Actually, we have a recipe on Epicurious for good can of butter.
How do you prepare this special? I have no idea. I don't know what you're talking about at all.
Why do brownies never turn out well in glass pans?
Well, I wouldn't say they never do, but one reason why they might not turn out well in glass pans is because glass takes longer to heat up than something like, say, aluminum. And that means that the brownies are going to take longer to bake.
So glass conducts heat differently than, say, aluminum or stainless steel.
Glass pans really insulate the heat, and so they cook it more in a cake-like kind of a way.
Glass conducts heat so heavily, so you can burn it so easily.
Because they're not metal and they're not dark, they don't create that crisp edge.
I tend to use dark colored pans, and they're metal, and that tends to transmit the heat from the oven into the brownie a lot more efficiently than a glass pan would. So that's how I get my crusty edges, and that's how you can get your crusty edges, which I'm uncomfortable saying.
The key to baking in glass pans is to lower the temperature of the oven by about 20-25 degrees so that you're not over baking.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I were desperate and I only had a glass pan and my brownies burned around the edges, I would totally just take them out and cut the edges off and just eat the middle. I totally do that.
Oh boy. I heard that halfway through the baking process, you take the brownies out of the oven and whack them on the table.
It's supposed to help make the brownies not as dense.
Does it actually help? I would think it would make them more dense. When you bang it on the table, it's gonna release any kind of air. So I wouldn't do that.
I've never heard that.
This makes absolutely no sense to me.
Penny, I need your help. Penny!
No, it's actually meant to make the brownies dense. So by doing that, halfway through the baking, any air that you incorporated during the mixing or the baking process, you whack it on the table, it releases that air, and it actually makes your brownies denser and chewier.
If you were to do that, which I suggest you do not do that, I think that would make the brownies more dense. Because when you're whacking something on a table, what you're doing is you're getting air out of the brownie, okay? So no, I don't think you should do this.
I mean, if this is what your therapist advised you to do to help you process the rage, I'm all for it. Yeah, I think then yes, it definitely helps. My first spike fail.
All right, edge or middle? Oh,
Edge or middle? I'm definitely an edge. But what do you guys think?
Edge, all the way edge.
I do like a little bit of a crispy edge.
This may be a very political answer, but I go with whatever I'm in the mood for.
I'm team edge because I want texture on my brownies. I like a textural contrast, and I want a crispy edge, a chewy edge. To me, that's the best part of a brownie.
This is America. You can get both. Son? I don't know why I called you son. It felt right. I hope I didn't make you uncomfortable.
Here we go.
How do you get that crackly top on brownies?
All of my brownies have the crackling top. I really don't know why you wouldn't have it. Is yours smooth or something?
I don't know. I don't have a crackly top on my brownies a lot of times. But I would imagine that if you baked it at a higher temperature, that would help it crisp up on top.
So there's crackly top and then there's crackly shiny top. Crackly top's gonna come pretty much with any brownie recipe for the most part, unless it's cakey. But the shine comes from using cocoa butter.
It has to do with the eggs and how the egg whites are basically leavened in the batter when you bake it. And it gives that really nice papery look to your brownie. It's delicious.
What you want to do is you want to beat your eggs with the sugar a lot. And when you pick up your whisk and the batter falls down, you can kind of see a ribbon of that egg and sugar falling back into the batter. That means you beat it enough. You don't really have to take it, if you don't want to test it that way, that's fine. But the point is you want to beat your eggs and sugar because what you want to do is you want to put that air into the brownie. What's going to happen in the oven is that air is going to push the brownie up, and then the brownie's going to fall. And when it falls, that's when that crackly edge is going to form.
That crackly top is so unique to brownies, and it makes a brownie what it is in some ways.
Yeah, crackly top on brownies. I don't know, but I do like they included a smiley face. That always makes me happy. All right.
Okay.
Anthony, Mr. Picture Guy, should have his own home cook show. I have a YouTube channel with like a few subscribers. So not including my mom, my wife, and my dog, I think I have like 6 other subscribers. Kind of a big deal on YouTube.
Good. And that's everything
Everything.
Everything.
there is to know about brownies.
Well, almost everything.